Hi everyone. Let's talk about before and after. Remember, one is before two, two is after one. So when you write sentences and you have two sentences, one is first and then something happens second, you can put them together. So let's look. She gets up. She drinks coffee. She gets up. She drinks coffee. You can change the period to before. She gets up before she drinks coffee. She gets up before she drinks coffee. Or you can change the order. You can change it so the second thing is at the beginning and the first thing comes at the end. So you change it here. She drinks coffee after she gets up. She drinks coffee after she gets up. With a comma, you can also change the order of the sentence. For example, you can take the end of the sentence and place it here. After she gets up, she drinks coffee. After she gets up, she drinks coffee. Of course, this part has to change also. You can do the same with before. So in this sentence, you can change it to before she drinks coffee, she gets up. And again, it is before she drinks coffee, goes to the front, she gets up, goes to the end. Before she drinks coffee, she gets up. Let's look at another example. Here we have something that happens first and then second. The students sit down. The class begins. The students sit down. The class begins. Again, you can change the period to before and put together the sentences together. The students sit down before the class begins. The students sit down before the class begins. If we use after, we change the order. We put the second thing first, and the first part we put second. So it writes, the class begins after the students sit down. The class begins after the students sit down. Remember, with a comma, a mark like that, with a comma, we can use the last part of the sentence at the first part. After the students sit down, comma, the class begins. After the students sit down, the class begins. We can do the same with before. We can take this part of the sentence and put it at the beginning, but again, we need a comma. So before the class begins. Before the class begins, the students sit down. Before the class begins, the students sit down. Okay, remember, practice, practice, and use Google Translate or a dictionary to translate before and after. All right, study, study. See you later.